Don't worry about a thing. Alicia. So, girl. Okay. So, beautiful people, Jen, good morning. Auntie Belinda Brown, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. All right, y'all, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. It is March the 6th, 2022. Day number 48 of year 4, reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1066. Today, in the Annunaki, the complete Annunaki Bible, we will continue reading tablet H, starting on page 133. And then we're going to jump back into chapter 27 in my big toe on page 221. So let's get started directly. Oh, most holy, continue to guide us and lead us as we learn about the truth and give us the strength and the courage to adjust our beliefs or our flawed beliefs into what we now know as truth. All right, beautiful people. So we start. I just saw your earrings on the book. What do they say? Om. Primordial sound. Om. It's Om, Dana. Okay, y'all. We stopped at the end of this, the continuation of the first charm, right? So this next section is entitled Mardukite Medicine, Curses and Atonement. And remember, we're in Tablet H, and the title of Tablet H is Book of Headaches and Demonology. Oh, Great Spirit, Yah, let us bring our spirit into the oneness of the Great Spirit. Shayla, hey girl, hey, Great Rising, that's Swabu, Amanda Bailey, Grand Rising Sis. Okay. Mardukite Medicine, Curses, and Atonement. As has been expressed implicitly throughout Mardukite literature, the role of Marduk in Babylon and Egypt was to surpass primitive religions, including those pretending to be monotheistic, dedicated to other Anunnaki that sought to enslave mankind, keeping them removed in ignorance from the source in a realm of darkness. Much of it originated not of blatantly malignant expressions, but necessity. Marduk is unique in his position among the gods in that he has the power granted by the 50 names to supersede them and their decisions in the material realm. We see evidence for this sign in the Serpu tablets, which lists sins or taboos as mamit. In one part, we find, quote, the mamit of any kind that afflicts a man, Marduk, priest of the gods, can attend, end quote. We translate it to literally apply to sickness, specifically choosing the words afflict and attend. An alternative would be to liken the situation to a curse placed on the person for violating some mammoth, thus replacing these two words with binding and loosen. Church stuff right there, right? Robert Betwabu. Several lines, or is it? The church just borrowed it. And a lot of the parishioners and its members don't even know. Talai! Hey, girl! Hey, girl, hey! Okay. Several lines of the third tablet of the Serpu series are spent in listing the deities whose powers Marduk can actually undo. Quote, Marduk can loosen the Mamets of Anu and Antu, Bel, Enlil, and Belit, Enki and Damkina, Nana and Ningal, Samas and Aa, Adad and Salah, Nabu and Tazmit, Ninib. And it has the ellipses going like it's more names, but they just cut off the quote there. End quote. It continues throughout the entire pantheon. In addition, Marduk is held as Musim Simi, I'm sorry, Musim Semate Sa Ilani Kalama, the one who determines or holds the fates of destiny of the gods, though some scholars believe this role to be purely cyclic, connected to the zodiacal ages or revolving among the Anunnaki. The Mardukite lore would suggest otherwise, that the younger god gained immediate respect among his elders by doing, quote, what you Annunaki could not have, end quote. Mom, shalom, shalom. On an Assyrian tablet used for healing, the god Samas is evoked as chief of the gods. Scholarly examination reveals that Samas is Azazel, a being also connected to the wild goat god of the woods, Enki. For for to consider Leviticus in the Old Testament, where Aaron cast lots upon two goats, one for the Lord, Baal, and one for Azazel, Samas. Linda, morning. The goat selected by the Lord is sacrificed as a sin offering, but the goat to Samas is to be presented while still living to the Lord to make atonement over it, and then it is set free into the wilderness, apparently the wild domain of Azazel. Azazel, Samas appears frequently in Judeo Christian scriptures in relation to the Day of Atonement. Everybody should be familiar with that, right? Everybody remember that? Dane, I know you guys remember it. I remember us talking about it shortly, early on last year about Azazel and that goat that was being let loose for him. And we was trying to figure out, okay, are we atoning for the sins of Satan? Like we, at that point, we didn't know what we know now. I think this was like early last year. It was that year where we spent Passover out at the park. That year. That was probably about maybe two years ago. Or that was before COVID. What were we in 2022? Possibly 3 years ago. Time is passing so fast. Okay. Yes. Okay, let me go back. I'm gonna read this part again. On an Assyrian tablet used for healing, the god Samas is evoked as chief of the gods. Scholarly examination reveals that Samas is Azazel, a being who also connected who a being also connected to the wild goat god of the woods, and in parentheses is Enki. For to consider Leviticus in the Old Testament, where Aaron cast lots upon two goats, one for the Lord, which we thought it was the God of all creation, which we call Yah, right? But in parentheses, it has Enki, right? In the Old Testament, consider in the Old Testament where Aaron cast lots upon two goats, one for the Lord, Baal, and one for Azazel, Samas. The goat selected by the Lord is sacrificed as a sin offering, but the goat to Samas is to be presented while still living to the Lord to make atonement over it, and then it is set free into the wilderness, apparently the wild domain of Azazel. Azazel Samas appears frequently in Judeo Christian scriptures in relation to the Day of Atonement. Now, if they have this same exact story in the ancient Sumerian text with Azazel and Samas, why is it in the Torah being related to Yah like it's original, like it's for his people, the Israelite brethren and sistren, right? That story didn't begin there. It is not original. I'm just saying, everybody, we just trying to figure out what's truth and what's error here. I'm just saying, it raises some questions. Y'all got to have enough courage to ask the question. Excuse me. I got a question, if I may. Right? I ain't trying to piss nobody off, but can we state the obvious here? I'm just saying. The Assyrian tablet reads, quote, by the Ma'at, power word of truth of Enki, may this man, the son of his God, and in, remember, it's the name of whoever is doing that prayer or incantation or spell, right? Same thing. May this man, the son of his God, in, become pure, clean, and bright among things. May this man be cleansed like a vessel of fat, lard, oil. May this man be cleansed like a vessel of butter, etc. Unto Samaz, chief of the gods, commend him. By Samaz, chief of the gods, may this man's welfare be protected, secured, sealed by the hands of the Annunaki gods. End quote. These appeals to the higher, and it has higher in parentheses. These appeals to the higher are similar in nature and intent to the actual Hebrew prayer that accompanies the goat atonement rite. It should be clear that Enlil is actually thought to be the wrathful Lord of the Old Testament Hebrew. Quote, Lord, I have acted iniquitously. I have trespassed and sinned before you. I, my household, and the sons of Aaron, your holy, sacred, good race. O Lord, forgive the iniquities, forgive the transgressions and sins that I, my household, and the sons of Aaron, the holy people dedicated to you, as is written in the law of Moses, your servant. On this day he will forgive you to cleanse you from all your sins before the Lord. Ye shall be clean. End quote. According to the writings found in the book of Enoch, Azazel is the chief of the Grigori, another word for fallen angels. The modern Semitic version leaves us with the impression that this being is a generic Satan. The warrior nature is what is actually called upon by Marduk in the construction of the weapons used to kill King Gu and Tiamat. And Tiamat has reference number 55 beside it, and it says, in the Babylonian epic of creation, which is the Enuma Elish, found in the tablet in series. Okay. In the book of Enoch, after the sons of God fall and then interbreed with the daughters of men. Let me go back and let me just read that over again. According to the writings found in the book of Enoch, Azazel is the chief of the Grigori, another word for fallen angels. The modern Semitic version leaves us with the impression that this being is a generic Satan. The warrior nature is what is actually called upon by Marduk in the construction of the weapons used to kill King Gu and Tiamat. In the book of Enoch, after the sons of God fall and then interbreed with the daughters of men. Quote, Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, and breastplates, and made known to the people the natures of the earthly metals and the art of working them properly, and the natures of bracelets and ornamentation of the body, and the beautification of the eyes and face, with all manners of precious stones and coloring tinctures. They're talking about makeup, right? Not that makeup is evil, but it can be depending on how you're trying to use it. You can't just change your whole identity. Well, you ain't supposed to. I'm just saying. A lot of people get tripped up that way. Men mistake other men for women. Women look like a whole nother woman. I'm like, wait, what? That was you? And I'm with the fellas. Take these women to the pool on the first date. Take them to the beach or something. If they refuse to go to the beach, accidentally spill some water on their face. Sisters, because y'all know y'all be up to shenanigans sometime. I'm just saying I love y'all. But stop trying to do the brothers like this. They doing the best they can, right? Don't trip them up. And I got this love for men, right? I have five, given birth to five of them myself. And boy, I'd be hot as fire if somebody did that to one of my sons. Don't. So I root for the men loudly. Loudly, I root for them. Not that I root any less for the girls, you know, we'll go to blows for the girls too. But I'm just saying, I have a special love in my heart, deep down in my shanana, for the men. Don't do them like that. Okay. The physical, hold on, no, I didn't even finish reading that. Let me go back up. Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, and breastplates, and made known to the people the natures of the earthly metals and the art of working them properly, and the natures of bracelets and ornamentation of the body, and the beautification of the eyes and face, with all manners of precious stones and coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness in the hearts of the people, for they had become vain with their knowledge and committed acts of fornication. Now, being that they were led astray, they had easily become completely corrupted in their ways. Oh, dang, okay, we can't lead it out. You're right. She said, look at these men having these fake beards. Now, I agree with her on that, right? Don't do that either. Take the time and grow it out, because you know what? It's about what's the word? The women are attracted to men with, I learned a little bit about it. I forgot what I was listening to, but they started getting into it. They was talk no. What book? I think it wasn't Yaki. Yaki was actually talking about it, but I was listening to something else. It was talking about the pheromones that animals give off. They got whole head pieces. Everybody need to go to the beach and the pool on the first day, right? Everybody acting crazy. Look, uh, but they was talking about the hair, and they was talking about pheromones that different animals give off and what they do to attract. And they say it's the same type of, they was breaking down the science of it, the men with the beards and stuff, right? Because remember, like back in the day, granted, men have already always had beards. But over, I think like shortly before, a couple years before COVID, beards started to make a comeback, right? Especially with our people, not men, you start to see more people of color letting their beards grow out. They may have keep it short or a little goatee or stuff, but they started letting it grow out full. And women literally became attracted to them. And it almost literally changes their appearance. Not in a bad way. It makes them look more distinguished. They're way more attractive. If they keep it clean and nice haircut, or even if they have dreads, they keep it nice and clean. But what's happening is the science behind it is the pheromones that is being given off. That's what really attracts women. I mean, the picture is nice and it's beautiful, but it's the pheromones in it. So but yeah, I was listening to something that was going into the details of that. I was like, yeah, women be going crazy. Like people be leaving their significant other when they cut their facial hair off. It's that serious. Like people like really do. Like I'm like, what is wrong with y'all people? Grow up. It's hair. I learned this. I learned this years ago by going hanging out at the barber shop with my husband and all the guys, and then some guys that would come in there just where they couldn't they just couldn't do nothing for them, and they say, we need to start you all over, right? And some of them be freaking out. They said, calm down, it's hair, it grows back, right? So but yeah, you hate when yours trim hairs in. Dana said yes. Devon acting like he cutting his beard. I was like, try it if you want to. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about the men. And my husband, he'll grow his out a little bit, but he always like to keep his like close. He just always keep his facial hair nice. But sometimes he goes through these spurts where he'll just cut it all off and like bald face. I'm like, what is wrong with you today? He's like, what? I mean, looking like this. Looking like he ain't got no lips or nothing. I'm like, I mean, did something terrible happen today? And he was like, what? I was like, what happened to your facial hair? And he looked at me like, girl, it's hair. I was like, you did not consult me before you did. He's like, girl, get out of here. He started laughing. I was like, you think it's funny, but I'm serious. He said, look, girl, calm yourself down. It grows back. I was like, look, you need to prepare me for this. Don't walk up in here looking like a ghost. You need to prepare me for this. Prepare me for this. Okay. Back to the reading. Okay. The physical apparent impact of Marduk dissolves into the unseen with the passage of time, all but to be forgotten as the Sun King or Sun God, a warrior spirit among the gods, makes a centralized appearance, keeping in mind the words God, heaven, planet, and star are essentially synonymous in the Mesopotamian paradigms. And for paradigms, it has reference 56, and it says, see also Secrets of Sumerian Language, edited by Joshua Free. We can see how some concepts are confused today, thousands of years later. And I'll reread that sentence again. Keeping in mind the words God, heaven, planet, and star are essentially synonymous in the Mesopotamian paradigms, we can see how some concepts are confused today, thousands of years later. Yeah, Trent look like he ain't got no lips. It's like this. You seen, I don't even know what they call, you know, those they're like little mime characters or whatever, but they have like no face. It's just like a whole body, they got everything, but it's like all of the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, and the lips is gone. It's just like blank face, just nothing but body and skin. And I'm just like, Dana said she would be shook. Devon's is long. Yeah. Yeah, he did. Okay, I didn't see his one from last night. I know he did one a couple months ago. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna share it. It was really good. Okay, hold on. Yaki hair. I gotta see. I gotta remember what I was watching. Some kind of informative National Geographic type thing. I was listening to yesterday while I was doing a little bit of cleaning before karate. After we had got off of here. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna share that one that I saw a few months ago by Yaki. And then I'm gonna check out his one that he did last night, and I'll probably reshare that too. But yeah, it's really enlightening. It really is, and it makes sense. It really makes sense, and I can understand it going from somebody who, even females, going from somebody who used to wear perms and stuff. And I've always kind of kept short hairstyles, but then once I went plant based, when I went plant based, it began to change my whole outlook on my skin and my body and how I wear my hair and the chemicals and stuff that would affect my skin when you're using the perms and stuff. I was like, I gotta stop all of this. So when I went plant-based, all of those things began to come to light and I began to realize it. And that's when I started going natural. So I ain't put no chemicals in my hair. And I wanna, yeah, since 2010. It's 2022. Now I'm going through my phases, let my dreads grow out, cut them, let my dreads grow out, shave them. Like I will literally go to the barbershop, give me a Caesar, start all over. My husband, like, what's wrong with you? Hey, weren't you the one who taught me in the same barbershop that it's only hair and it grows back? And I look cute with a Caesar, right? My big earrings, go ahead, throw me some designs up in there, right? But yeah, your hair is actually antennas, right? And it grows towards the sun. At least people of melanin. Like we have like the same bodies, but the chemical, let me make sure I said this the right way. The people with more melanin or darker skin, our hair grows in certain ways because there's slight variations in the makeup of our bodies, right? So you have to understand the differences, which is it's a big key factor for those who are going plant-based. And if you look on YouTube, you will see a lot of videos, and I couldn't understand it at first. I couldn't understand it at first until recently I began to do more research and doing more looking into the plant-based and all the different effects. You have people who are of a fair skin complexion, or like Caucasian people, versus people of color, not just African American, but anybody with way more melanin or carbon in their bodies, right? When you go plant-based, for some reason, for people or Caucasian people who go plant-based is good and it helps them heal. But after a certain point, they tend to become deficient. And I don't remember exactly what it is that we have that they don't. Clearly it's more melanin. Not to be racist, I'm trying to explain something scientific in the best way that I know how. But I'm gonna share this video by Yaki too. He did, hold on. So y'all can be mindful of this. right? Okay, so if you look on if you go to YouTube, you'll find more videos by lighter color people, Caucasian people, who talks about like the fruitarian diet and how they started and they could only keep it up for like a few years. Then they became deficient and they became sick. They started to have teeth problems and all different types of things happening to them. And they said once they added meat or some type of it doesn't necessarily have to be animal flesh, right? So, I'm not saying add animal flesh back to your diet, but some type of protein. You need to find out a good source of protein from the plant kingdom and add that. Make sure you're getting a good amount, or not a whole lot. You don't need to overdo it, but you need to make sure that's included in your diet on a daily basis. To whereas melanated people with way more melanin, blacker, darker people, that actually harms them. The protein actually harms them. So when you see people, Caucasian people saying, stay away from the fruitarian diet, know that scientifically what they're saying is true, but what they don't realize is just for like Caucasian lighter skinned people. But it will, if people with more melanin carbon in their body, black people, if they kept that protein in there, just because of their physical makeup, some things kind of run higher in us anyway. We need to consume more like amino acids from the plant kingdom. If we don't need all of that protein, because if we have more protein in our bodies, it will actually begin to break our bodies down to where it will build their bodies up, right? So you go up there and you look, you have a certain group of people saying fruitarian diet to kill you. It's to kill this woman, it just killed this man, and he been plant-based for the last 30 years. He finally died of this and that heart attack. He had all these deficiencies, but you got to look at it. You got to make sure you qualify your information, people. So if you are a Caucasian or a lighter skinned person, like not black or any darker skin race, you have to be mindful that you need like a good source of plant protein in your diet. And you can get it from the plants. You don't have to eat animal flesh. I wouldn't recommend you eat animal flesh, although they say when I went back to eating meat, I started to get better. And it's true, it's because that protein that they derive from it, but it'll still eating animal flesh will still tend to break your body down over a while, which is why you should get that plant-based protein for you. You have to be mindful of that. To whereas black people, darker melanated people, that protein will break our bodies down and kill us. Like we thrive off fruitarian diets for our lives. There are whole communities that from the time they started to the time they went to the grave, they consumed no meat and they were strong, they were lively, because that's the type of diet that causes them to thrive. Lighter skinned people, if they get sick, they can switch to that diet for a period of time and they can make it long term, but they have to remember to add protein to their diet, right? It's just the makeup is it's scientifically been proven. So make sure when you listen to people on YouTube about the diet and fruitarianism or going vegan and stuff, if they're not talking about that, they come into you with half-cocked information. So that's why some people, oh no, I didn't heard about them vegans. And then, it's like, well, you need to make sure, first of all, you're getting information from the right person and understand why. Understand the differences in the bodies and why we can't consume as much protein, because it'll lead black people to diabetes and high blood sugar and stuff like that, to where it won't cause those things in Caucasian or lighter, fairer skin colored people, right? And even light skinned black people too. You fall on the side of like the black people, the heavy melanated people, so you will thrive off of a plant-based diet, right? More so fruits, really. The vegetables are for the healing and the restoration of herbs, but the fruits is where you thrive, right? And not all things that have been labeled vegetables are vegetables. Like tomatoes is a fruit, cucumbers are fruit. All those type of melons, they are fruits. If you do a little bit of research on why they're misclassified, it was doing like trade and getting things over the border, more taxes and less taxes. That's why they chopped and screwed up all of this so they didn't have to pay so much in taxes. It's a long, crazy story. But when you're changing your diet, be mindful of those things and the genetics and the makeup of your skin, so you don't kill yourself trying to get yourself healthy, right? Okay. I'll share those things by Yaki. Just look into it if you didn't already know. All right. Let me go back to where I stopped. The physical apparent impact of Marduk dissolves the unseen with the passage of time, all but to be forgotten as the Sun King or Sun God, a warrior spirit among the gods, makes a centralized appearance, keeping in mind the words God, heaven, excuse me, planet, star are essentially synonymous in the Mesopotamian paradigms. We can see that some concepts are confused today, thousands of years later. In the following rite, a dead man is to be buried in the ground. All of his personal effects are to be washed, cleansed with water, and a figure is made in his image to also be buried, so not as to incite the visitation of his spirit thereafter. The burial hymn is dedicated to Samas or an equivalent solar god name. Quote, Samas, king of heaven and earth, judge of what is above and below, Lord of the dead, ruler of the living. Samas, the dead have risen and appeared. The Edimu, and for Edimu, it has reference 57. Edimu is traditionally translated as ghost or ancestral spirit. The Edimu of my father and mother, the Edimu of my brother or my sister, let them the worldly death. Let them accept the worldly death and be free. All right, so that was the end of that little section. And the next one is entitled Devils and Demons of Babylon, Fevers, Evil Spirits, and Headaches. And that whole little title might be our title for today. I think it will be. Right, I'll put some little devil faces in there. Okay. It is curious to the present editor that it was in the first decade of the 20th century that so many ancient tablets came under public attention, translated from their original cuneiform by some extraordinary and adventurous minds, most of them not even realizing what part they were playing as the gates began to crack open. At the same time, the magic of the Hebrews, Sumerians, Babylonians, Akkadians, and Assyrians began to earn publication for public exploration. Notice how he started with who was doing magic, right? Where everybody tripping out, stay away from it. Everybody know the Hebrews was doing magic. They was the ringleaders in the magic, what they was doing, right? I'm gonna read that again. Or what we call magic today. At the same time, the magic of the heat, that might be in our title today too. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can fit all that in there. The magic of the Hebrews, Sumerians, Babylonians, Akkadians, and Assyrians began to earn publication for public exploration. I might share a little treat with y'all today at the end. I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna share something that happened, something that we tested. I think I might share. I'm gonna just share a little bit. Where my sister? She in here? Alicia, yeah. She might have clicked out. She at work. Alicia, if you're here, okay, so remember, I don't know. You here? Let me wait for a response real quick. You here? Did you click out? I'm gonna wait for a second. She at work. She probably had to click out. Hers I definitely want to share. I think she clicked out. I don't think she would mind. It's one of those road opener type things that we did to loosen up some stuff that we learned about. It loosened up some stuff from the past and manifested itself in the future. Some that we were not even aware of. She ain't here. She responded. Leisha, that you? You come back in. Is that you? Hold on, y'all, because I want to make sure, because I really want to share this with y'all. Maybe that wasn't her. Okay, let me keep reading because this is not that long. After we read this, I'll check again. Okay. It is curious to the present editor that it was in the first decade of the 20th century that so many ancient tablets came under public attention, translated from their original cuneiform by some extraordinary and adventurous minds, most of them not even realizing what part they were playing as the gates began to crack open. At the same time, the magic of the Hebrews, Sumerians, Babylonians, Akkadians, and Assyrians began to earn publication for public exploration. Now for now for a century, I see you comment, Dana. I need to loosen up some stuff. I need that incantation. I'm gonna share it with y'all. I've been thinking about it the last couple days because I didn't gave text her real quick. It's gonna knock Facebook off. I know she wouldn't mind because we've been talking about it. Because after we saw that it worked, I used it. And then it worked. Like results like literally next day worked. I'm like, oh shoot. This is the kind of stuff the church need to get their prayers to work. Like if they would stop teaching them garbage and teach them the truth, we could get some things popping around this joint. I'm gonna share it with y'all in a second. Y'all already have the reference. I'm not sure if you ordered it, but you have the reference where you can get it and what we looked into. I didn't particularly name that book from that library, but I'm gonna give it to you. Right? Okay. Let me finish reading this. Now, for a century, few but the elite have even dared explore the mysteries, shrouding it in gloom, dangers, and fears innumerably connected to the same horrifying images of Sithonic gore. Darkness is always requiring holy magic to bind it, as seen in further examples of these most ancient explorations. Using the hair of a virgin child, a wise woman must spin it double, twice thick to make a rope. Bind twice, 7, 14 knots, or bind twice, 7, and it has in the brackets, which is you bind twice, that means 14. 7 times 2, 7 times 2, twice, 14. Okay, y'all get it. Bind twice, 7 in brackets, 14 knots. Perform the incantation of Iridu, and it has reference 57 for incantation of Iridu, and that says, incantation of Iridu, Mardukite pentagram right in Y tablet in this anthology. So we're going to get to it, right? Okay. Quote, bind the head of the sick man, bind the neck of the sick man, bind the life of the sick man, bind the limbs of the sick man, end quote. And also, listen, let me when I read about it, it wasn't so like crazy to me. And we didn't have to like take like, remember, it ain't nothing like you got to get one back wing and you have to get 2 strands of hair from a werewolf's back. You know how you see on movies, you got to get all these ingredients to do a magic spell. It ain't nothing like that. The movies will absolutely throw you off and make you retarded if you listen to them with some of this stuff. Now, some people actually they figure out ways to make this so hard, and you have to use all these ingredients when you absolutely really do not. Right now, something I learned from my uncle years ago with my oldest son, who is now 25, with a wife and 3 kids of his own. Right, Uncle JB, Grand Rising, Hardhead Nardo, Shalom, Shalom. Look, so we were having it. Okay. So something. Okay. Let me just pause real quick. What I'm maybe I should wait. Okay. I'll wait. Let me finish reading this little section and then I'll share that story. Then I'll share with you why I shared that story and share with you the thing that we tried. Okay. All right. Hold on. Encircle the couch or the bed, etc. The man lays in with the waters of the incantation, holy water or water blessed by the priest incantations prior, and may the headache ascend to heaven as the smoke of the incense of purification. And like the waters that rain down on the lands, may the headache be seeped deep in the beneath, returning to the underworld in which it was born. The incantation of finality, a prayer of Amen, it is finished, or so mote it be, used in the exercising rites. Quote, Z Dinger Anna Anu Kanpa, by the heavens you are exercised, so conjure be it. Z Dinger Kia Kanpi, I'm sorry, Kanpa, by the earth you are exercised, so conjure be it. Ban, 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 by the gods I conjure an impassable barrier. By the heavens I conjure an impassable blockade. By the earth, I conjure an impassable bridge. By the heavens and earth, powers of light and darkness, I conjure the binding that none shall break. No God shall annul, no man shall change. A net without escape, which cannot be used for evil. And then it has in brackets, restored ending to the prayer of finality. And it goes on. Amat Ia Linsu Dinger Damgal Nuna Hin Sidi, and then it has like brackets and ellipses within the brackets. May the word of Ma'at of Inki make clear passage for me. Damkina List E Sir Dinger Silig Elim Nun Na Dusag Zuabij Saga Tag Tag Libi Zakan. May Damkina guide us with the light of the truth and the eldest son of the deep. Marduk Medru Ritsiu Sa Apsi Bunu Du Mi Ku. Marduk, thine is the power to brighten and bless. Then it has the 3 asterisks, then it has this last little paragraph, and it says, an evil spirit is prevalent in the land. It torments the people both above and below. It is a pestilence, a plague with no rest. It wishes desolation for all wherever it goes. The great demon, the great spirit, the great fiend, that which roams where the multitudes gather, the angry, fierce, quaking storm that thrashes about, like the pestilence in the streets, which Nergal had brought. It is not I, but Marduk who performs the incantations. And that is where we're going to pause at right here because we're at the 41 minutes and we haven't read the my big toe yet. I'm trying to see who this huge truck is sitting out here in front of my house. All right. But we'll get back to this, and it goes into the causes of headache, disease, and possession, right? And that's actually the last little part. We'll read that tomorrow. Okay, but let me share this with y'all real quick before we start my big toe. Okay, so Audrey, shalom. Okay, so this has a little to do with what they call magic, but not necessarily magic for real, right? Is understanding what's happening and commanding a certain thing. And when you do it, the unseen realms actually hear and help. Okay, so when I first learned about it, I didn't learn about it in these terms, right? And I just learned from my uncles like a short little prayer. So earlier, many years ago, all of his children are grown and out the house now, right? Okay, Alicia, you here? Okay, so let me just. Okay, so you remember what we tried with the little well, let's just call it the magical cash book. Can I share the results? Your results of what we did? Oh, I know who that is. That's why it come to fix my truck. Can I share that? I'm not sure if you were responding, if you heard me earlier. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Where's my husband? Hold on. Let me just talk till he comes to the door. I think let me just unlock it. Hold on. Let me just unlock the door for him. Because I know my husband said he was coming. But he ain't got back here to the house. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if you need the key. Hold on. Hey. Good. You got everything you need? Yeah. Okay, you need the key? Okay, y'all. He normally don't come unless my husband here. That's why I'm like, I was like, where's my husband at? Okay, so all right, I got the door closed. He got everything he need out there in the truck already. All right, I got y'all on live. Okay. Oh, babe, you here? Oh, you in? Okay, yeah. Wyatt just pulled up. He outside. I gave him the keys of everything out there in the truck. He got it. The front door is a lot. So if you coming back, he out there. I ain't going out there. Okay. All right, y'all. So when my uncle, when they're they're grown and out the house now, but they were actually home. Okay. They were actually homeschooling their kids. Well, he know to call you when he get done, right, babe? or I guess he gonna relate to me or whatever. I don't know what y'all worked out, but he pulling his stuff out. Okay. Okay. So they were having issues with before they was it before? Because they did like a couple, they homeschooled them, I think, then they put them back in school, and maybe homeschooled them again, and then put them back in school. But between one of these things, they had an issue with one of the teachers. I believe it. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't a teacher. I just saw the picture when my uncle was explaining it to me. It was a bus driver that they had at one of the points where they put him back in. And I want to say it was, I'm not sure exactly which of the children, but it was an issue. They were the bus driver was being a bit of a butt, right? Acting out towards his child. You know, met my uncle, their family, they sweet, loving, beautiful kids. Kids never cause trouble a day in their life, right? I'm like, who would mess with him? Right? They got two girls and one boy. So, but my uncle found out about it, right? And you know, my uncle, I think at that time, that was before any of us had transitioned back to Hebrew roots or anything, full on Christians, right? But he ain't having that. And he's prior Marine. I ain't gonna say prior Marine, because once a Marine, always a Marine, right? But found out they was having issues on the school bus, right? And my uncle, he's like, he was solid, rock hard Christian, and he literally knew how to call down the fires of heaven on you, right? And so that's what he did. And so when he was explaining this to me, he actually shared it with me. It was many years after it had happened, but he was telling me what he had did, and he said it never fails. And he said that when he found out about this, he went out there and he talked to the bus driver. But even after that, the kids still was having problems, and it was come back and telling him. And he went out there one more time. And after that time, he went home and he did a prayer, right? We call it a prayer in church. Yeah, they spotted the new moon, Thailand. It is, I get it to you. I get it to y'all in a minute. It's on Thursdays. They spotted it on Thursday. So the new Sabbath is on Thursday. Okay. So he did this prayer and he said, Pam, he said, I promise you it never fails. Right. And it doesn't matter whether he was using that prayer of protection for his children or anything else. If there was somebody coming up against you, right, without any cause, right? Remember what Proverbs says, a curse without cause shall not alight. So that's why you have to be careful before you do a prayer. We're gonna call it a prayer. I still call it a prayer before you do a prayer like this, because if it's unfounded, it could backfire, right? And so he said, anytime he do this, he said, I kid you not, he said within 2 weeks, something he always sees, he said, it's never any longer than 2 weeks. And when he said that to me, it stuck with me. So anytime I ran up into an issue, right, I would do it. And it's not like something you got to follow. Okay, what is the words to that? No, it wasn't like words he gave me, right? It was just simply you acknowledging. And at the time we were saying God, right? Which we, the creator don't really care for real what you call him, because he understands what level of understanding that you are at. And if you're calling out to him, he knows you're calling out to him, right? And calling on the forces, right? Let's just say that. So I would begin to do that, and that had an issue at the daycare. Now let's jump forward from my uncle to the time when my oldest son, who was 25 years old now, he was going to daycare, right? And it was after school. He wasn't small, but he was in middle school. And at that time, I was still a government contractor, and my husband, he was working another job. So what began to happen was, and it wasn't anybody messing with him, right? It was this lady. She wasn't that old. She was probably, at that time, we was in our 20s, but she was about in her 40s. If I remember her face correctly, she was in her 40s, and she would seem nice, but she was like overly exceptionally nice, right? It's like overly exceptionally nice, where it's like, okay, what's wrong with you? Ain't nobody like that. I mean, it's people that are that nice, but you know how sometimes it's like people that are that nice where it seem like you got ulterior. It's like you can feel it, and I could feel it. But she will also always try and give Elijah little gifts and stuff. And remember, Elijah's always been big for his age, right? Um, so he was in middle school looking like a high schooler, right? So he would go and he was always towering over all the kids in the daycare. And Jeremiah, was it Jeremiah? Yeah, Jeremiah was going there too, but Jeremiah was there a little bit earlier than he was. But he would come on, he's like, Miss, and I'm not gonna say her name. Miss such and such gave me this. And she will all I said, well, did everybody get? He was like, no, she always got something for me. Yeah, like they got an ulterior motive. And it didn't sit right with me. I mean, not that you can't do that, but first of all, you're in a daycare setting, right? You shouldn't always be bringing little gifts for one particular child. Like if you're not related to that child, like, I don't know you like that, sis. Why are you giving my kids stuff? I said, did she be bringing? He said, yeah, she always, he said, but we already know we don't eat nobody else's food but yours, mom. So she would have little cakes and stuff and, little extra things, and she would offer it to him and nobody else. And I was like, wait, hold on. So, the more I walked in, I got more uneasy letting them go. So, and I remember what my uncle had said. I said, okay. And this was a simple prayer that I did. I said, okay, Father, I don't really know what's going on. I said, she don't look like it. I said, but I can feel it. I can't quite put my hand on it. And I learned growing up, when I get that particular type of gut feeling, to always go with that. I can't necessarily put on it, but it's something spiritual, unseen, that it triggers on the inside of me. It's kept us safe many a days, even in business dealings. When we violate that, something happens that is unfavorable for us, right? So I learned to trust that real early. And so I just did a simple prayer. I said, Father, I don't know what it is. I said, but something just don't seem right about Miss such and such. And I said her name. I said, and it wasn't the owner of the daycare. It was somebody that the owner, who we were really cool with, who we knew for years, and we trusted her with our children, right? But it was somebody she had hired recently, and this woman had been there for about maybe 6 months or whatever. But it was towards the 4 month period of her being there, to where this stuff started coming out, and Elijah started saying something, because he was kind of uncomfortable. He felt like he was being, like called out, kind of, because, but not that anything was bad, but he said he just kind of felt uneasy. So I was like, Father, I don't really know what's going on, but I don't really have a good feeling about this. And I don't know about Miss such and such. I said, so if there is anything, I said, if this gut feeling that I have, I said, if this is right, and if she has ulterior motives to do something to my son or with my son, I don't really know what it is. I said, but you need to remove her immediately. Right. And this was a simple prayer that I did. And you know what happened? About a week, not even 2 weeks, that woman was gone. We never seen again. And I inquired of the owner. I said, I noticed I haven't been seeing, Miss such and such. She said, "Oh, girl, one day she came and said she couldn't work here anymore. She had to move out of town." And I'm like, "Really?" I said, "Was like, I'm being, trying to." I was like, "Family member, I hope everything is okay." She said, "Yeah." She said she had to go. She couldn't even put in a 2 weeks notice, but she said she had to go. Something with her family. She had to move out of town, and she was leaving in a couple of days. I was like, "Wow. I hope everything is okay." And then when I left out there, I'm like, "You the man, you the man." I'm like, okay, right? So that was one real big thing. Now, not knowing then what I know now, which I was kind of operating on, but in different words, right? And my uncle didn't really get all churchified on me, just explaining things. He said it's just a simple prayer. He said, because if something is awry and you pick up on it, you're able to intervene and do something about it if you recognize it, right? And especially when it comes to your own children. If it's being directed at you or one of your loved ones, you can do it, right? And so if you look in those books that I mentioned from the Gallery of Magic, you will see the different protection ones in there, and it'll tell you the same thing. You can use protection prayers or spells to protect yourself or family members and friends who are being harassed, or things that are coming up against them, even if they have court cases. All these things that you hear about in church that they have in prayer books, they also have it there. But this is like more information and more detail, and it kind of explains to you what happens, sort of kind of what happens in an unseen realm that stands behind you, especially when you are in the right? When you are pure and holy, or you are um I ain't gonna necessarily say without sin because of some stuff. He said it will still work even if you live in a complete vagabond life. So you have to take the responsibility to make sure you're not doing anything to cause harm to others. Okay, so with that being said, I shared that with you because within this gallery of magic, the books that I shared with you that I have, there's also one in there that'll help clear the roads, right? And it's kind of like the same principle. It's not well, it is because if there's a person blocking a road, keeping things from flowing to you, that person will be removed or adjusted or whatever needs to happen to, you know, move. Okay. Now, we did this also again where I don't know. I mentioned it before. Okay, so I won't call any names. So we found out also, me and my, I gotta be careful because I'm not sure that a that a I'm not sure that quite a certain person in our family quite understands this yet. But there was somebody in my family who was being abused, right? And we found out about it. And we wanted to go lay hands, like our physical hands on this particular person, right? But I'm like, let's not do that. Let's touch them without touching them, right? And we did the same type of thing, but now we were we knew all of this stuff. We knew like we what I'm telling you now, we were already into learning about it and deciphering truth from error and what works and doesn't work. So now we had a little bit more information. We were very specific with what we said. But then we talked, we was like, okay, we have to be careful because if our family member is guilty in any way, I'm trying to word this the right way. If our family member is guilty in any kind of way and possibly, like going back and forth, it's like a mutual thing where they if it's like a mutual thing where they beating on each other, then this kind of might backfire because they done both lost their mind and maybe we shouldn't intervene, right? I'll say it. But if this other party is truly lording their strength over our family member and our family member is truly scared and feels powerless to fight back, then we're going to step in and we're going to lay hands without physically laying our hands on this person. And I was like, so we need to structure this prayer right, just because we're not actually sure. And we've talked to this person and they said they weren't. And so we kind of took their word and just by the demeanor of the person and knowing our family member, we believe them, right? Just because that's not their character to be going out bullying and fighting people, especially not fighting men, right? Because it's a female. So it was like, okay, we got to structure it the right way, make sure, but we was almost 100% sure that our family member wasn't the initiator of these fights and this outside person, right, was the one who was attacking our family member. So when we structured the prayer, now I would say this one, it didn't happen in 2 weeks. It was a little bit longer, but it was within a 2-month period, right? So after we did the prayer, things like shifted. It started shifting a little bit, and their whole scene began to be thrown in turmoil, right? Now, we don't necessarily see what the unseen forces are doing. We just see the outcome and them reacting to their circumstances, but there are unseen forces shaking up the situation to help break free the person who's being abused, right? And so once that was shaken, and people from the outside that may not understand what's going on, it's like, what is y'all doing? Is you got sin in your life? But we kind of understood what was happening. The situation was being shaken up to break loose our family member from the abuse that was happening. And it's sad to say when you do prayers like this, it depends because we don't decide. Like we don't decide whether the person gets to continue living on the earth or goes into the unseen realm and becomes an ancestor, right? That's not really our choice. I mean, we could make that choice, but we chose not to do that. We said by whatever means necessary to break our family member free from the abuse that was happening and to keep them free. And apparently, the unseen forces of the world thought it best that the person who was abusing our family member no longer walked the earth. Now that shook us down to our deep core. It was like, holy crap, this stuff works. But excuse me, I almost choked on my own spit. I'm sorry, that was gross. But it was a real, like, life or death type thing in our family members particular situation, right? So if nothing had been done right now, you can call on the forces, the police here to kind of help you, but it's like domestic issues, battery, all this stuff type thing going on, then your name get put in the system. Both of you, that's not what we really wanted. We wanted the situation to be done so she can regain her composure and pull her life together and break free from this situation. Sometimes we don't need to call on the physical forces here. We need to call on the unseen forces, right? And as more time passes, as the days pass, we really begin to understand why church indoctrination and taking the gospel to the four corners of the earth, why it's as strong as it is. When I tell you, we have unseen helpers who help us. We have unseen helpers who help us. Now, you may be triggered by some of the words that the people use. When you hear them just waking up, they start work, they go back to the worshiping of the ancestors and all this stuff. They just like waking up and they don't know what to do. They say, oh, this is what goes, this is what works, and this is what they label it, right? Just like we label and we call the creator of the universe Jesus. That's what we know. Okay, this will seem the word. I think this is what it is. This is what everybody's saying it is. This is what it is. It's that type of thing, right? Ancestors, and the correct understanding of the word ancestor is those who used to live on the earth that are no longer living on earth. They've gone through the death passage. Their physical bodies have died, but they are alive and well. When I say they are alive and well, they are alive and well, and a lot of them are still in this realm. Now, some help that you get, it will be from them, right? It will be from them because they can still interact with this physical realm. You just can't see them, but they're kind of stuck here for a period of time until they're able to transition, right? But some of your help will come from them. The church has taught that the unseen realm is either one or two things. It's either demons or angels. From what I know today, and from actually experiencing and have more outer body uh experiences and thinking about a lot of things that happened early in life and what I'm understanding now, it's unseen human forces who no longer have their flesh, right? Think about think about it in the New Testament. This is when I really start to kind of pay attention to it. In the I think it was no, it's the book of Daniel. Remember when Daniel was having he was having one of the open visions, and it was over by the river, and Daniel went to bow to the angel, and the angel said, Daniel, why are you, and I'm summing it up, he said, don't bow to me. He said, I am of your brethren. I'm like, what? And that really stuck with me. I'm like, and I have asked myself, Alicia, you ever paid it? It says, it's literally saying, it's like, Dan, you don't bow to me. I'm like, I'm one of you. Don't bow to me. Right. And I'm like, I was like, do you think, and me and my sister was kind of running. I was like, do you think that what we call angels is actually maybe those of us who have actually died? And you hear some people say, oh, they didn't gain their wings. I said, do you think it's actually possibly, could it be humans that have died that are now helping? And from what I understand, that you actually do have something. Think about Enoch. Wasn't Enoch a human person? From what we understand, wasn't he of us? He was one of our brethren. And who is he now? He is called Metatron, or the angel of the face, right? He's considered an angel now. So all of these things I'm thinking about with some of the prayers that we do. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is really going on here? Like, we really can cause things to happen. We can literally, like, it's like we mentally assent to, I'm a prayer, and God is going to answer me. And yes, it happens, right? But I don't think we really take the time and think about the logistics of what is really happening behind the scenes, or what is really taking place, and the help that's actually coming to help us, right? A lot of times people say, oh, they didn't caught angels on their rings or the heat or whatever. All this stuff. People, we're really trying to grasp for straws, trying to figure things out that we're catching, that we're seeing, that we're experiencing. And when we don't know, or when it's too much, it's like, oh, it's either we're gonna classify it as one or two things. It's either of God or it's not. It's either of God or it's of the devil. It's an angel or it's a demon, right? It's God or it's Satan, right? And I really wish it was just as black and white as that, right? But there is so much in this gray area that we haven't even explored, that's there, that has been in our face. Like we live in the gray area, like we are the gray. If that makes any sense, we are the gray. Your hard head said, my grandma said that it was spirits that didn't want to cross over yet. There are some they can choose not to cross over or continue to ascend in their development spiritually. But when they pass from this life to the next, it's like everything about this realm, it's like they have like full knowledge of this realm. That's why they can help. Now, of the realms above, not so much, because they have to continue to grow spiritually. It's just like ascending those stairs. Remember, we talk about ascending those stairs to Pharaoh's throne. You can, depending on each stair, representing a language of a nation. You can only ascend the stairs up to Pharaoh. Pharaoh being on the top with the 70th step. You can only ascend the stairs depending on how many languages you knew. So if you only knew 4 languages, you could only ascend 4 stairs and speak to Pharaoh. Then the people in between have to send that message up to him because he couldn't hear you. He on stair. He had 70, my G. Ain't nobody hearing you down there on stair number 4, right? Earth would be like platform. We haven't even ascended to the first step. The first step would be crossing from earth into death, or what we call death, or losing this flesh, and you go on to the next level. Is that next step. Those there on that next step, that first step, they can communicate with with those here trapped in hell. Let's just call it that, right? Y'all get what I'm saying. Those here still on the earth, they can talk to you. They can tell you what's going on. They have full knowledge of what's going on in this earth right now, which is why sometimes you, like I mentioned, you see paranormal activity going on. A lot of time it's not ghosts or demons. It could be, oh, is Alicia here? She be having some crazy stuff happen at her house. I was like, now I understand. I said, I bet that was Aunt Shelly. Like we be joking around and stuff, right? Um, but I'm gonna get to the whole point of the book of what we use, so y'all can take a look at it to help clear up the roads. But I want to kind of get these little backstories, and we ain't gonna read none of my big toe today because we're already like at an hour and 7 minutes. So, but it's them trying to get your attention or to help you out. Like seriously, I used to think that was a bunch of garbage. Like, yeah, y'all get out of here, y'all. Listen, you need to go repent. You're straddling the line. Like that was me. Until things started happening to me, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have any answers for this, and I'm starting to go search. Like, wait a minute, hold on, is this really this? I heard people trying to tell me about this. I'm like, wait a minute, and then I started looking at some of the what they call African spirituality. That's the going term for it today, right? But it's really, they say the ancestors are helping you. Okay, if you want to put it that term, some people get triggered by that. Okay, I get it. If you don't want to say it, okay, just say the angels of God are helping you, right? Okay. It's still still the same thing happening. The whole point is I brought that up is because I said now I really understand. Because remember, I told y'all, me and my sister was always running. It seemed like some scriptures are just thrown right in there, right in the middle. And it doesn't make sense why this particular scripture is placed right here, right? And they tell you don't talk to the dead. First of all, they teach you about the dead the wrong way. They're not dead. They never died. They just shed their flesh, but they are not dead. But we are taught that when you shed your flesh, you don't ever talk to them again, although they are always trying to communicate with us, right? And they tell us not to talk to the dead, but you want us to talk to a God we can't see, right? And just stay with me, right? They tell you don't, they pinpoint certain groups of people which are our helpers. We help one another. They're able to help us from a little bit higher level while we're still here, stuck on stupid in the earth, right? But if you haven't began to develop yourself, or you haven't started meditating or praying in tongues, whatever you want to call it, to tune yourself to the voice of the Creator, you miss out on all that instruction that's being given to you, and that's just there for the taking, right? That's how people can pull things from the unseen realm, or they say their ancestors or angel gave them this, and now they're millionaires, right? They gave them this formula to cure eczema in our people, this, that, all these different things. I'm like, how is this? There was a woman, it's this company, Honeypot. Y'all ever heard of Honeypot? All these things I was looking at, so I was like, well, how? And they're saying one of my ancestors gave me the recipe for this, and it helps to cure particular things in women, and it's called the honey pot. Look that up, honey pot. Look it up. Look up the inventor of honey pot, and look at how she said she got the recipe for this natural cleanser for women to cleanse their womanly parts, that actually helps to cure some things that they can't get rid of, and it's natural, right? You don't have to go get drugs and take all these antibiotics for things that are happening to you. She said that little recipe or secret was given to her by one of her ancestors. I'm like, okay. I was still being triggered by the word ancestor. I'm like, okay. Um, yeah, you use her products. I use her products too. When I found out about it, I was like, I'm supporting sis. Let me get her stuff. And you can order from Amazon. So you can order directly from her site, but you can get it from Amazon as well, right? So all of these things I'm just kind of taking, I'm putting it on the table. Like, all this stuff got to go on the table. We got to listen, we got to figure this out. Yeah, she has it right in her packaging. They got it in Target too. Okay, I ain't seen it. I haven't really looked at it in Target because I just been ordering it offline. But all of these things, not just them, right? So I was like, Zay, you got to cut that down a little bit. So I was like, okay. I was like, there is definitely something to this. I'm like, okay, so they're telling us, and listen, and that, I really don't want to sound racist here, but this is just kind of how it's been, right? Okay, so it's like and it's really not just black people, but you see white people too, and they just kind of fall into the same trap. They tell you, don't talk to the dead. And so I can get that. Y'all hear me joke about, oh my gosh, don't talk to them. That ain't granddaddy, right? Y'all hear me joke about it a lot. Um, but now what I'm understanding, I'm like, oh shoot, granddaddy really is still alive. But when you watch movies, they teach you about it, but they throw their spin on it to make it look ludicrous, especially if you haven't actually had these experiences, right? So it kind of muddies the waters a lot for us, and it tells you don't talk to the dead, you talking to the devil and all this stuff, which by doing that, you don't get the opportunity to grow. They automatically cut this off for you to even explore and just look at, to see if it's truly garbage, right? I'm at the point, which is, you told me to stay away from what? Okay, I'm I'm gonna note it, duly noted. Now I'm gonna still look into it, but cautiously, right? I'm like, Father, protect me, but I don't trust them. I need to double check and make sure that this is something we truly need to stay away from, or if this is something they're trying to hide with a boogeyman in front of the door, right? Think about it. Think about some of the atrocities that happen in Africa and in the Congo, right? And if you get some of the deeper stories, which they try to keep us separated from here in the West, we will start asking a lot of questions from the ones they didn't capture and colonize, and what they were actually doing, right? Some of them, if you hear them, they say they was calling on help from the ancestors, or they was using voodoo against the Isaiah, turn it down some, please. Against the colonizers and stuff like that. And it was really interesting to me. So I started looking into it. I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, no, there are really unseen forces helping. There are really unseen forces helping them, and not necessarily what you would call angels. Because remember, I said there are more fierce energies that will help in a time of a war. It's not just a floating on cloud type angel, whatever. But these are literally what the church will call warring angels, but not necessarily angels. In some places, you would call these warring angels actually demons, which is why in that gallery of magic there are, and they back upstairs on my what you call it. you will see, if you pull it up and you look through some of it, or the covers, and you will see the different titles where it has demon in there. But if don't let it throw you off, y'all. I'm telling you, do not let it throw you off. Go in and actually read what it's saying. It's going to explain to you so you can have a really good understanding of the energies that flow and actually help mankind. Right now, our responsibility, still being in the flesh, is to be able, first of all, understand that there are different levels of power, right? Some people might just need a skateboard or some skates. Everybody don't need to drive or a rocket ship, a freight train, a crane, monster trucks, even vehicles with Hemi engines. Those would be like the demonic or the stronger or the more fierce powers, right? That's what you can liken demons to, right? When I say you watch the movies and things like Annabelle and all this kind of crazy stuff, the movies muddy the waters for us on understanding the spiritual energies and what happens behind the scenes. So what the church has done, and those who wanted to lord over you, lord over man, because all of man is free. Man should be free. Man should not be subject to any other man, right? Unless you're a child growing up under the tutelage of your parents. And then after that, we put you out there, right? But there are people who really want to control you, take advantage of you. Us, we have to be able to decipher between those type of things, right? And when we find ourselves in a position that's lopsided and not in our favor, we have the ability to do something about it. We can pray to God. We can call on unseen forces. You can call on, if you're more comfortable saying, call on the answers. It's still the same. What I'm telling y'all, it's still the same energies that's going to help and intervene for you, depending on what you're asking for. But if you are afraid to ask for it, you don't get it. And it's like you're made to stay there and just wait for Jesus to come get me in a sweet by me. He won't come get me. No, I don't want the boats. I know I asked God to save me. I'm not getting on your boat. I'm gonna stay in the water. I'm gonna keep treading water as long as I can. No, cruise ship, party on, go on. I know I asked God to come save me, but I ain't getting on your boat. He coming to get me. No airplane, helicopter, man, swoop back up in your helicopter. No, please don't pull me out this water, because Jesus Christ, God is coming to save me. All right, listen here, idiots. We're here on this realm. So when we see things like don't talk to the dead, they've already programmed you to what they want you to think the dead are, to cut you off from your source of help, from your source of power. You have to have the right teachers teaching you about this. You're not calling on the ancestors or dead people or the dead or demons to help you. You are literally calling on the unseen energies to come help intervene, which is why, when first of all, when you know this, you can do it on purpose. And if we knew this and we did it on purpose, all the lopsided things, upside down things we see in the government, in the continents where we may be scattered across the earth, we could literally, remember I said it before, not be a revolution overnight. It will literally be a revolution within hours, right? We could literally cause an uproar with the unseen forces. But if we are ignorant of the help we have right here in our face, they ain't got nothing else to do but to sit and twiddle their thumbs. They're going to sit and twiddle their thumbs and fingers like, yo, we right here. And it seems to me there are certain things, I don't know, it seems like it, I still haven't figured this out, why some things they will intervene on without us asking, and some things they absolutely will, not that they won't, but it's like if you don't ask for the help, it's like they won't intervene, right? I haven't quite figured that out, but I think that's something like we have to I don't know. I think it's a part of the growth here on the physical realm that we kind of lost the connection or the understanding to make the worlds collide or merge back to like they used to be. I think we have to figure that out, which is why for those of us that know it happens for us, right? Yo, Lisa said, "Let me shed it till it's over." Right? You look, her girls are so sweet. that because we look okay, so our younger children, they haven't necessarily gone through the although they've been in church a few times, but they're kind of born to where we were waking up, so they're not heavily church indoctrinated like some of our older children may be, where we're trying to correct that and break them out of those break them out of those jails. We help put them in by attending churches that are teaching us wrong, right, and teaching us wrong about or teaching us wrong about some things spiritually, right? One day, her girl, she overheard her girl. No, I think she came and talked to her. Was it Bree or Jordan, Leisha? Which one of them was crying? And they noticed that every time that she cried, it rained outside. And it was something. It was a movie. Something I don't know. I can't remember the name of, it, but somebody also said that it doesn't, what is it? She's not crying because it's raining. It's raining because she's crying, something like that. But Jordan, I think Jordan began to notice that about Bree, or Bree began to notice that about Jordan. When she would cry, it would always be raining outside, right? That's like another whole thing we're gonna have to talk about manipulating the weather and stuff, right? Y'all, you can really call on unseen forces to cause things to happen. A lot of times when you got tornadoes and stuff coming, you know how the church teach you, pray against it, bind up the devil, hold back the forces, the angels of God, throw up an unseen barrier, turn this water back from the east to the west, go back out to the ocean, all those things, right? Like, yo, you are calling on unseen powers. It's not necessarily the creator himself. It's the unseen forces that are helping us. Y'all ever wonder about uh the hurricanes, where all hurricanes originate from? The coast of Africa, my G. Yo, the coast of Africa want to tear apart the West because of what they did. Right? But you got Africa want to completely destroy those who came over and colonized them and sending them forces this way. But you got us here that are stuck like, yo, my G, go back to the ocean. We over here. Don't destroy. You can't destroy. It's really, if you really, we ain't really gonna get into that yet. But we gonna get into it. But y'all got to start paying attention, and y'all can go test it and taste the pudding. I kid you not, y'all. I kid you not. Don't think I'm crazy. That's what I was like, y'all. If y'all ain't been with me, y'all got to go back. Go back to some earlier videos and build yourself to where we going. Because I got to share some stuff with y'all. Like, because it's time out for all the shenanigans. We can control a lot of stuff without putting our hands on it. Things that'll get real nasty and dirty quick. Don't subject yourself to the jail cells of this earth in these cities and these states and the federal penitentiaries. Don't do that. There's a way to put your hands on it without putting your fleshly hands on it, my G. Pay attention. Stay in class. Don't leave early. I'm trying to help y'all out. Look, because I've been tasting the pudding. You got to be careful. Just don't miss no steps. Make sure you really understand what you're doing, because the energies are fierce. The energies are powerful, and the energies will work in whoever hands get on it, right? So make sure your motives are pure, right? I mean, if you're a vagabond and you get hold to it, I mean, that's what we've been seeing, right? They've been able to use this stuff against us, and their hearts are impure towards us. They want to rule the whole world. They've hidden everything from us, right? The energies are going to work regardless. That's why you need to know. You can't fight them with anything else. Your guns and your weapons, it don't matter. You come in here. I mean, and I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a concealed carrier. I'm gonna carry my weapon, right? But I do know that I have a family to help take care of and stuff, and I don't need to be sitting behind bars. If I really run up into a situation, first of all, I use my spidey senses. I'm calling them spidey senses. I try to stay in tune at all times. So if there's a situation happening around me, or a possible situation that could happen, um, I believe that I stay in tune enough to know that we're not even gonna put ourselves in that situation. We're not gonna go there that day. Or if I feel something about to pop off, it's time for us to roll out. Get your stuff. Come on, let's go. It's time to go now. We ain't even trying to be a part of this, and we ain't staying and fighting for nobody, right? No, if it ain't family, family needs to go. Let's go. We don't want to be a part of this. We want no parts of this, right? But if you bring it to our doorstep in our home, we got the right to defend ourselves, right? By any means necessary. And first, like if you come bum rushing, then the first things first, right? But a lot of times you won't get that close because we have unseen forces protecting our places of residence and our places of business. Or you can only get so far. You can't really get too close to us, right? So with that being said, you got to understand those things. You got to use the proper tools. You got to know what tool to use and when to use it, right? So you got to learn about the tools. You got to learn about you call them spiritual gifts or spiritual weapons, whatever. Learn about them, right? And this is one of those things. They have it. They've been using it against you, and they've been indoctrinating you and turning your mind and what you can see. They've been turning all these things against you to make you think, oh my God, it's something they didn't created this devil and got the people believing anything that got to do with this. It all is all a part of Satan's kingdom, and you should have no parts of it. Yet, excuse me. Yet they're sitting back laughing at you. They're sitting back laughing at us while they're using those same things, right? And some of the main preachers, pastors in the church using it, teaching you not to use it, they using it. You got some of these pastors going to voodoo priests and stuff, how to teaching them how to keep their church under submission to them. Like, y'all, when I say this is a thing, this makes me want to throw up, right? But you can correct whatever's in your power, right? So that's why I said you got to be careful. And those particular scriptures that are like out of place is thrown right there. Hold on one second. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. You text my husband? Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, but you got to be careful. They teach you about it to keep you away from it, to keep them in power over you. And it's not a race thing, although they've been portraying everything as race because that's the easiest way to keep us in turmoil against one another while they go on doing whatever they want to do to everybody. It's to keep us not looking at them, the true culprits of the devastation that's going on. It has nothing to do with color, y'all. Absolutely nothing to do with color whatsoever. Never has been. Never has been. It never has been about color. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Right? But it's really what you would call a spiritual war that's going on. And they've pretty much stolen. I say they've hoarded to themselves all the tools and everything that the great creator has set here for all the spirits who come to this school. It's to help us to develop. So you got to be careful. Okay, so now that I done gave y'all all that little backstory and some of the stuff. Okay, so here's the goodies. Here's the goodie I want to share with you. In one of those books, it's called Magical Cash Book, right? It's in the Gallery of Magic. Go look at it. If you missed it, go to the community section. If you're on YouTube, or you can type it into Amazon, the Gallery of Magic. Make sure you put a K at the end of Magic. Magick, the Gallery of Magic. In there by Damon Brand and a couple other authors who spent years learning about the spiritual realm and the powers of different things that work. And it's like really a thing. The Enochian magic, all these things, pulling those scrolls, all that. They explain it. Remember, do not skip over the preface and the introduction. Don't skip over any of that. You have to read it because that is your education, right? It's really good. And if you're really well versed in the Torah and have done a lot of research, you're going to start making connections with a lot of things that we find over in the Hebrew because all of it uses Hebrew. Every single magic book, it uses Hebrew, right? And if you already speak fluent Hebrew, you get right through it and you'll be able to make these connections really quick. Okay. But if you haven't done a lot of research, I'm going to just say it's not so hard. It gives you a good working information, a good short education to get you working correctly, using the vehicle appropriately without hurting yourself or others, right? Okay. It'll help you grow and it'll help you loosen up some things in this life around you, things that people are holding hostage or things that seem like is like, man, I can't seem to get a breakthrough, right? You're going to see some breakthroughs. And it's just a little goodie for the financial side. Okay. So it's called Magical Cash Book. Just follow the instructions, right? Read it, follow the instructions, and test it and taste the pudding. Okay, so me and my sister was like, oh, maybe we should try this. So there are a couple people, you can look on YouTube, the couple people that did, if you type in Damon Brand's Magical Cash Book, some people have given like their testimonial and how it's worked for them, right? And so he's teaching you what you can call, I guess, faith. So if you have an issue and your finances have been held up in any kind of way, and you don't know where the money is going to come from, here's something that you can do, right? And just be honest with what you're going to use the money for. It don't have to be all pious. Or if you want I'm just if you want to get the money to go buy you a sack of weed, if that's what your true intentions are, here's the thing. You have to be honest about what your intentions are. And that's what I learned about going through some of their material. It's really looking at you and the heart of you to bring out who you really are. So first of all, you can understand who you really are. If you have any ulterior motives, you need to understand that about yourself. Is going to walk you through, okay, why do I even feel this way? It's like this, it's like I don't know, it's kind of like a healing thing. It's like really opening your eyes. If you're asleep, it'll help open your eyes, right? But it's dealing with you. You have to be honest with yourself, right? Okay, so if you want $20 to go buy some weed, be honest with yourself. Okay, I just want an extra 20. Money is tight. I'm paying bills. And just go with the example, y'all. Like, seriously, if that's honestly your thing, I want $20. I need to go buy me a sack of weed, my G. Okay. And then you do this, and then you spend the money on what you were honestly going to spend it on, right? So that's just an example. Now, also, if you have not had the experience on dealing with big sums of money, when you first start off, you don't go in there be like, okay, I want $100,000 when you can't even handle $1,000. If your experience, not saying that it can't get there, because it can grow. And I want to show you, but that would be on my experience, because we have used it and we've gotten huge sums of money, right? Okay, so I'm gonna give you the example that happened with my sister. I still haven't talked to my brother because I know we talked to him about it, and there's something that loosened up for him. This thing, okay, but we'll put my brother to the side for a moment till I actually talk to him. So with it, now in this particular prayer, you call it a prayer, call it incantation, whatever you want to call it, right? And you're calling on unseen forces to help shake loose some things that have happened in your life, right? Things in the past, things in the present, and things in the future to come, right? If there are things that we missed in the past, we're asking you to shake it loose and bring it to fruition so we can use it today. Now, let me show you how this happened for my sister. We did this. Well, she did, because you have to personally do it yourself. My sister used it, right? So we in the process of tasting the pudding. She ordered the book, I ordered the book, and we kind of like study buddies, and we kind of go back and forth with one another, right? And so like, okay, let's try this, Alicia. Let's try this. So she tried it first. Alicia, you still, she at work. I know she can. Okay, so I'm not sure if it was like 2 weeks. I know it was definitely at least 11 days, at least 11 days time span. So my sister is a registered nurse, right? She works in a hospital. So she's actually the charge nurse, but as she's been there over her years, she has gotten quite a few raises, hence the position she's in now, right? You know, nurses, they get all these different differentials and all this different stuff. But what happened was she did this, and mind you, my sister, she stayed on her money, but something missed her attention over the last year, right? And so this actually happened we in 2022. This was early 2021 when this happened for her, right? Toward maybe like the middle. Okay, so something had missed her attention. So after she did this prayer, called the prayer, incantation, spell, whatever it is, to shake free anything in her finances that she had met 2 years. Okay, 2 years ago. Okay, wait, no, it was two. Was it 2 years that it had gone past where you didn't realize what had happened? And she wasn't missing the beat. She wasn't missing any money or anything. But what happened? Make a long story short, she did the little prayer. Okay, she went PRN, and then she said, I went PRN and my raise slipped through the cracks. Okay, that's what it was. She went through the PRN and her raise slipped through the cracks, right? So, but she didn't notice it on her paychecks, because when she get paid, she get she was a nurse, and sometimes she wore all these extra shifts. So her checks are huge, right? And so, but she didn't pay attention to it. She didn't even notice it. So after she did it, how long was it after you did it? I know it was definitely at least 11 days, because they say for 11 days, just kind of repeat the prayer for like 11 days. And I don't know why they choose it. I know It tells you why. Okay. They tell you, some people call it like an 11-day ritual, but I remember as I was saying it, it's like we have to, it's like the unseen forces, because sometimes we tend to be lazy here, just like, do it for me, let me know when you got it done, right? But it seemed like the unseen forces want to know that you are committed to what you're asking them to help you with. So that they chose like an 11, they figured out that 11 was the magic number, so to speak. So you would repeat this prayer any time of the day, whenever, just for 11 consecutive days. It's just to let the unseen realm know that, listen, I'm serious about this. You know how you praying to God and asking for something, Father, I really need this. And every day you praying the same prayer to it happen, right? We're already in the habit of doing this. It's just we do it unconsciously, not looking at the logistics and the schematics of everything. But we just taught, just keep praying till you see it manifest. Or some people say it, pray for it, believe it in faith, and forget about it, it's like it's those same things, but it's breaking it down in detail. So for at least 11 days, right? And that's showing consistency on your part. And you're simply just repeating the prayer for 11 days. And it's not this whole long prayer, right? But within it, you get a book and you keep track of your prayer. And every day you do the prayer, and whatever amount of money it is that you're asking for, you just write it down every day, right? And you just draw a circle around it. And that's it. Close, put up, go on about your day, right? But every day for a consecutive 11 days. So what happened? And I'm not sure that she even, did you ask for a specific amount? I'm not even sure that you asked for a specific amount. But let me tell you what happened. She did that. And within a couple weeks' time, at least after that 11 days, what happened was her charge nurse, the person that was excuse me, in charge of the payroll accounting, they were going through and they found the mistake. They found a mistake and they saw that for 2 years that she had been being underpaid, right? Lisa could have gone on for the rest of her life and never even realized this. Never. You know how much? Can I share with them the amount? I want to show y'all. Can I share with them amount? Her nurse manager. Can I share with them the amount? I'm gonna wait for her answer. Or you can even, if you want to share it, go ahead and put in the amount. But and some people's like, what? You got how much back pay? Her nurse manager one day, and it's the unseen forces working behind the scenes. Her nurse manager went through, and okay, I can share it. Her nurse manager went through and found the mistake herself, right? Alicia didn't say nothing to anybody. This was just a prayer she did. Unseen forces working behind the scene, or y'all working behind the scene, or the angels working behind the scene, ancestors working behind the scene, whatever you want to call it. The unseen forces work behind the scenes to get her nurse's manager attention to look at her file. She pulled up her file, her payroll, and everything, and she started going. And because Alicia does good, they like really want to promote her, right? I'm like, girl, they gonna make you the head of the hospital. But started going through her stuff and started looking at her pay and her pay stubs and stuff, and found out that she was being underpaid for 2 years consecutively. 2 years consecutively. She didn't go talk to anybody. She didn't ask anybody to check her stuff. It's just me and her tasting the pudding on what we found out, right? And even in it was like, okay, fine, because we still kind of teetering, like, Father, we really don't know if this is witchcraft, if this is really, we don't really feel like, based on what we know, we don't feel like this is witchcraft or calling on saying, but we really feel like this is like prayers. It's just like the missing secret sauce from like the Christian prayers that they should have taught us about, right? It's like, Father, and if anything about this is wrong, we're sorry, but we're really trying to figure this out down here. And I'm like, throw us a friggin' bone, help us out, right? Went through her stuff. They contacted my sister and let her know that they had been underpaying her for 2 years consecutively. Leisha, within how long was it? Was it the next paycheck or the paycheck after that? Within a month's time, they said we have been underpaying you. I think it was like on every paycheck like $1 and some change for 2 years consecutively. And mind you, all them hours she was working on, all them hours for 2 years, they totaled that up, and it was over $10,000. Is that right? You know the exact number. You can put in the exact number. Within it wasn't that next pay cycle, but the pay cycle after that, they gave her that lump sum of money, paycheck right, because they had to catch, that's right, paycheck after that one, after they told her in her checking account direct deposited. It was over $10,000 from them 2 years that she had completely missed. It wasn't even on her radar, didn't know about. Remember, but the prayer is to shake loose anything that's falling through the cracks that we have not recognized. And we're not going talking to anybody. We're simply just doing this prayer. No, oh, I'm sorry. No, she said no. $3 for 1 year, 5 for another. More. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, what you got? Okay, before taxes, what it was $15,000. When she actually got it direct deposited, what she got deposited in there was a little over $10,000. Boy, the IRS, make sure they take their part. And I know I'm doing work doing taxes for the IRS. They ain't playing with you. They ain't playing with us, right? So everything total up over $15,000, right? And remember, this was within 2 weeks after doing the prayer. After doing the prayer, what we'll call a prayer or the magical cash book, within 2 weeks, it shook these things loose. Unseen forces got her nurse's manager attention to start looking into her pay. And she saw the mistake and the discrepancy. And they alerted her to it when she called me. I said, girl, it worked. It worked. Oh my gosh, it worked. She said, girl, guess how much it is? I said, get out of here. I said, yo, this Jane worked, right? And we told our other sister about it. And we told our brother about it. Yo, like, y'all gotta go do this. You gotta go do this. So, but that was all within like a couple weeks of doing it, right? So now my husband's not here, but I kind of been sharing sporadically a little bit. Now, that's how it worked for her. Now with us, it was a little bit different because we had some things held up with our business requests that we had put in. I did it, went through, did the same thing. The very after, matter of fact, okay, there was 2 times that I did it for the business, and we got 2 huge lump sums for something that we had requested to help build our business on the back end, right? I don't know that I necessarily want to give it to you. I ain't trying to like boast or anything like that, but it is for business purposes, right? But it was great lump sums of money, right? So we did it, and they'll tell you when you read through it, it'll tell you that you don't necessarily, you should be consistent and do the prayer for at least 11 days, right? But yeah, I'm not Leisha. I'm not going to give, but I'm just saying it'll work for any amount of money. But the amount of money that it will work for you for is what you at this point in your life can handle. So if you can only handle an extra $1,000, don't go asking for $100,000. You're not even mentally prepared to handle that amount of money. It's not like winning a lottery. It's not like that. If you think that's what it is, don't even try and use it, because that is not what it is. It's not a get rich quick. What it is, it's literally developing you. And I want to say, if you want to use church words, it's literally helping you to develop your faith. It's actually giving you something to do and to calculate, and you can do it in stages. If you want to believe for like an extra $100, to whereas if that's what you can believe for, if your mind can't even fathom, okay, I'm comfortable, like within a month's time, I know somebody could just bless me with that, or I could find $5 here, $5 there, or I can get back whatever. If that's what your mind is, then use the amount that you are comfortable for. It's going to help to build your faith and what you can believe for and what you can ask, or you want to say ask y'all for. And I'm telling you, it works. There was one girl, hers is on YouTube, and she'll tell you she could only believe for $200, right? Things that just happen out of the blue. It'll give you opportunity to get the money you asked for. It could be opportunity, it could be somebody, and it's not always somebody giving you something, or whatever is closest to you. Can it? Yes, yeah, Jen, it can be done in increments. Yes. And that's what it'll explain to you. Right. And it's such a good little workbook, right? Anybody growing their faith, just don't let the word magic throw you off. The principles in it are priceless. the principles in it are priceless, guys. It really is. And it's easier for people who haven't been raised in a church to understand that and get in and actually get operating in it and grow than it is for people who have been indoctrinated and they tell you everything is of the devil. It's so much hard for church people, even some of our Hebrew brethren and sisters, even if they've been doing research, they still gotta get past that whole Satan devil type thing before things begin to click, because you can't even fully grow there, because that's going to be a big hindrance to you at a certain point, because you're not going to be able to uh, operate with the energy, with the unseen realm efficiently, because it's always going to keep that factor of fear there. Not that you shouldn't have healthy fear, you really should. But that's why I say that's why I recommend Damon Brand. I went through all of the books in his thing. I haven't tried all of the different things, but the education that he gives in the beginning of his book is I found it to be priceless, y'all. If you don't believe me, just get it tested. You don't even have to buy the hardback. Download it on Kindle and read through it, right? Take what you can, use what you can, use it for your growth. What you can't use or use it this time, hey, put it to the side. But at least keep moving spiritually. And I think that's a good spiritual tool to help you understand some of the unseen forces and how they, not it's not the Bible on how it works, because we still learning a lot, right? Okay, so there's one girl on YouTube, her thing was $200, right? So out the blue, and whatever that you do is a part of you. What, Josh?
My chips is on the vehicle.
Well, go get them. Go get them. Make sure you lock my truck back. So how whatever you do, like if you're a pet lover, if you pet sit, everything about yourself will be included, right? It ain't, don't think things are going to come to you from some unforeseen thing that's not already a part of you. What I found out is what you're asking for, it's always going to deal with you or something a part of you. So, and it says don't count out anything, because the money could come to you in different forms and fashions and opportunities, easy opportunities. So what happened, she wanted to go out of town with some friends, but she needed an extra $200, right? So she said this would be the perfect time to use it. She said, I can believe for $200. It's not like, she said, now I couldn't believe for 1,000. She said 200 was probably my limit at that point. So she said, okay, she did the little prayer for 11 days. But what happened was, a friend, I think it was a friend of her mom, was going out of town, and she needed somebody, and she had a dog. She needed somebody to pet sit, right? And she wanted to know if her dog could actually come to her house, because she didn't want to just leave the dog in the house and get somebody to key to her house. But she said, oh yeah, I love animals. And she goes and she walks her friends' dogs when they don't have the time. And so her mom mentioned her daughter. Now her mom didn't know she had done this, right? But it just happened after she had got done with her little 11-day prayer that her mom's friend was going out of town, and her mom mentioned her, hey, such and such does this. Oh, well, can I have her number? Can I ask her? She called her. She said, hey, I'm going out of town. And she said, I'm going to be gone for about, I forget how many days. She said, but I'm offering $200. And when she said it, she said, there it is right there. Now she had to do a little bit of work to get it, but it was just pet sitting for about a week while this woman was going out of town. But what she asked for manifested in that way. So I'm giving you the different examples. It could come through maybe forgetting or not paying attention to a pay raise or something, like it did for my sister. It could come through opportunity, something that you already know how to do, a gift or a trade or something that you already have, something just comes, boom, it happened there. We've had it happen, not the bigger one, but even smaller, because I started testing in smaller increments, like $10,000, right? These are small. This is nothing. It's like $10,000. What would happen is somebody, and specifically somebody who owns one of the big car lots around here, they wanted to do an office move, and so they called us and said, "Hey, what can you do this for?" And I didn't say anything to my husband. So my husband looked at it, this and this and this. He said, "This is about a $10,000 job." I'm like, I still didn't say it because I didn't want to say anything to anybody, not even my husband. I just wanted to see how it shook out, right? See how it shook out, right? He said, "This is about a $10,000 job." But what happened was, remember, I didn't say $10,000 and take taxes, like, because at this time I gave a specific amount, which was $10,000. Not that we needed it, but I wanted to see if it worked. Now I've handled bigger amounts of money, so $10,000 is nothing to me to believe for, right? So my husband said, "This is about a $10,000 job." My ears perked up, and so I'm paying. I still didn't say anything to my husband. But what happened was, I'm like, okay, so if we do this and we use employees, I'm just running through in my head. If we use our employees, we're gonna have to pay payroll, all of this, and it's not gonna be $10,000. But what happened was, while they were on the job, there were other things. She said, "Why need these boxes moved? Everybody gonna need to box up their stuff, and they don't want to do it. Can you add this to it?" But what happened was, it my husband said, "Okay, well, here's the price if you want us to do this." And that same job, with the boxes and stuff that they added to it, he added it to that. And after that was done, the project cost them more than $10,000. Oh, it was a little more over that, but the overage of it actually paid for. And this was just a 1 day thing, right? This was just a 1 day job. It was a Saturday job, right? They use the whole 8 hours, but that's how much profit is in the particular work we do if you know what you're doing. So, but the extra stuff that they added onto that actually was the overage that took care of the payroll and taxes and stuff, and we profited off of that job out of the blue. After I did this little prayer, we profited. It was actually a little over $10,000. I'm like, yo, this works, right? So you call it magic, you call it God asking your prayer. I'm just saying we just understand a little bit more about the spiritual realm that we didn't know before. And it works, right? But they'll also teach you that people will use it against other people. And he said, and it seems like there are no forces to stop you from doing that. He said, now they also don't recommend that you use it that way. It really depends on the person using the spiritual principles, right? In this physical realm, right? So good and evil happens because of what we do with it, or what we term to be good and evil. So if we taking this knowledge of the unseen realm or the unseen help and using it against people spitefully, that's a wrong use. That's a mishandling of tools. That is mishandling the authority that is given to you, just like cops who overstep their bounds, and just because they wear the badge, oh, I wear the badge, and what you gonna do? And especially they're ignorant, right? Now they ain't gonna do that to nobody that's another cop or somebody that's hired like the FBI. They ain't gonna try that crap because they got a little bit more power than you. And we can see that in the physical realm. It's the same thing in the spiritual. And people with ill intentions in their hearts, they carry that same type of attitude that rogue police officers do. And they do the same thing to people spiritually and unseen that we can physically see cops doing to different people, different races and types of people, just because they wear the badge and they can get away with it. And they got a whole system that's going to back them up or not going to put them under the bus when they do it, right? It's the same thing when you get over here and you see it. So that's why I say you have to be careful about what's in your heart, which is why I like Damon Brandon, why he spends so much time about you and your own heart motives before you use this, right? And how you use it. He's giving you the information. He's putting it out there. He's teaching you about it, right? But when you get it in your hands, you do with it whatever you do with it. But you know the consequences. Now, there is what you would call a law of karma. They call law of karma what goes around comes around. Now, you may be using some of these things, but you're going to meet your match one day. If you start using these unseen spiritual powers, forces, doing things like a rogue cop out here, you're going to meet your match one day, soon enough. Don't do that. Do not put yourself in that position. Use it for your own spiritual growth, to help loosen up some things around you. Business deal, unseen forces. Not that you have an upper hand on people. No, there's just some things we can't see, right? In the physical realm, secrets, things people are keeping from us to get the upper hand on us. We're using it to shake loose the shenanigans so we can move about life and grow unhindered. Now we're going to run into opposition, but when you get to it, learn how to handle it, but handle it appropriately. Just like with the if you're familiar with the in the military and even in the police force, the laws of escalation and de-escalation. Even if you carry a weapon, you take a concealed weapons class that teach you about the laws of escalation and de-escalation. Same thing with spiritual principles and spiritual powers that you learn about and you learn how to wield. That's now a part of your your toolkit, right? Don't automatically pull out your gun on somebody when they when they just got their hands. That's no, you go to the next level. You can pull out mace, you can pull out an axe. But if they don't have any weapons, you can't automatically pull out your gun, right? You can't shoot anybody in the back, right? There's no justification of shooting anybody in your back. Like, they are not a threat to you. They're running away. And they may be running away from the law, and that may be illegal, but they're not a threat to you. And it's absolutely illegal to shoot somebody in the back. It's illegal to shoot somebody in the back in the spiritual realm too, y'all. It's the same principles. Yo, Tylane, girl. Oh, that's good. Okay. Tylane say they was putting up a new house in the neighborhood about 2 years ago. And I asked God, I wish I could get a new house, but at the same time, I don't want to have payments on my existing home. I was able to pay my mortgage off completely off on a 30-year mortgage in 11 years. Oh, Tylane, that is awesome. Congratulations, sis. Not a lot of people are able to do that. But there are a lot of stories, even stuff like that, that'll happen. Like if you're upside down on your mortgage, like all these things. I haven't personally tried that one yet, but there are different things that you can do. There's a lot of little stories I can give you about this and some of the things that we've done to help different people out that may know and may not know, right? It's just simply understanding how unseen forces can help and just come shake loose a few situations for you or help you in a few situations, right? But yeah, so yeah, Lindsay, yeah, that's going to help a lot. As I live in Israel for 8 years and went to a language school there and speak and read it. Oh yeah. So let me know when you start tasting the pudding, Lindsay. Y'all let me know which book it's called Magical Cash Book by Damon Brand, right? So it's in the and I'll actually share the link just for that one specifically in the community section on YouTube and on Facebook today. So y'all, that's gonna be it. I hope y'all enjoyed it today. That was my little goodie I want to share. I've been wanting to share that one with y'all for a minute. I'm like, yo, they gotta learn about these tools because they need to learn how to use this stuff, right? And I wish if I had a church, and not I'm never gonna get a church. I'm not, but I'm just saying, I would be letting people know, yo, this is this, this is this. Now, this is how you go out here and change the world outside of these four walls of the church. You equip the people with what they can use, not you sitting here on your face and snot and cry and beg for help. No, everything we need is already here, has been given to us, and we've been kept ignorant of the tools that we supposed to be putting in our toolbox, right? So I'm just saying, right? They keep us away from these spiritual tools by calling it witchcraft of the devil, and I'm telling you, it's absolutely not. I mean, if you don't believe me, go test it, taste the pudding. And if you still think I'm a heretic or you count me off and say, yep, she used to be a Christian, she a witch now, don't talk to her. It's whatever. But I'm just saying, until you start hearing some of these supernatural, if you have a supernatural experience or out of body experience, you might come back lurking on my page one day. But okay. Well, what you had said back in the day when okay, because I think I kind of experienced something like what I heard you talking about. Okay, what video was that? Okay, did she say magic, astral projection? Now let me type this in. You know, like I'm serious, y'all. So I'm just saying, taste the pudding. And please don't get them and just go skip in the back and start doing stuff. That's like trying to drive an airplane without taking a class. Please, guys. If y'all don't hear me say nothing else, please do not skip through the preface and the introduction to starting pages. Start at the beginning. Pay attention. If you don't understand, read it again. Don't try anything until you understand what has been said to you, right? And I think all y'all will, because if you spend any time, even just being faithful to reading the Bible or understanding, letting it sink in, oh, okay, I can see that principle. I understand now what you said. Because a lot of time we like mentally assent to stuff until we actually have an opportunity to experience or put our hands on it and actually have lab class and actually test what we've been learning. Just like science class, you got the instruction part of class. Now let's go into the lab and actually, work with this until the principles literally come alive and sink and set down deep in your sha-na-na, where now you can teach the class because now you have experience. Yes, babe?
Josh trying to cut me.
He trying to cut you? How he trying to cut you, sis?
Him trying to cut me was my knife.
Wait, what? Tell him why y'all in Jeremiah's room. What knife?
Mom.
What?
No, let Aubrey in the room. Guess what?
Y'all should not be in his room. Tell Joshua I said come here. Tell him I said come here. All right, y'all.
Hey, Mom.
So, yes, girl.
I almost cut Aubrey's hand and now I got it.
Let me end this. We'll lock my son's room up. Lord have mercy. It's probably his little pocket knife he keep on his what you call it. We're gonna get out because these kids. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. It is Sunday, March the 6th, 2022. Hold on. I'm about to come up there. It is March the 6th, 2022, day 48 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1066. We read tablet H in the complete Annunaki Bible, and we didn't finish all of it. We got like a little paragraph left. And we started at page 133 all the way to page 137. And we did not read any of my big toe today on purpose because I really wanted to share that magic treat with y'all. I call it a magic treat. I know some people probably still pissed about me using that word magic, but get over it, people. Get over it, right? It ain't really magic for real if you understand, right? It's understanding the unseen forces that are part of this realm that we have not been privy to, or we've been taught about it wrong on what it is, what it really is. Right. Okay. So with that being said, I love you all. Father, thank you for your wisdom and grace and giving us strength to even just look at things that we've been taught about wrong. Help us get rid of all that fear, but continue to lead us and guide us in all truth and give us understanding. And as our understanding develops, help us to take that understanding and apply it to our life so it becomes wisdom. And let the wisdom flow out in all those that see. Let them see the change that has taken place. And if they haven't yet tasted the pudding, we know that it's gonna get them curious. Like, what is going on? What you doing? What you doing, man? Right? So let us be that light set upon the hill to draw other people to the truth. All right, beautiful people. That's it. I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow morning. The new cycle for the Sabbath. She's so loud. Oh my gosh, she's so loud. Hold on. Yes, Tootie. Baby.
Shoot me again.
Shoot you with what?
With his shotgun.
With his toy gun. When y'all hear say gun, y'all, it's not a real gun. It's the Nerf guns. He got the little
Mom?
the bullets in them.
Mom,
yes, girl.
Mom,
yes.
You don't buy Josh anything. Only me.
Tootie. Where is my thing? Oh, there we go.
Josh keeps snatching my toy.
Okay. All right, Tootie. Hold on, they changed this. What they doing barley reports. Okay, y'all. Yeah. Still having up month delayed by 1 day. What is this? Okay. It's half updated. But yeah, the new Sabbath, the new moon was sighted on Thursdays, y'all. So Thursdays will be taken off here. That's good, Tyler. I just read your comment. It's been a blessing listening to you for 2 years. You gave me the courage to pray more. Amen, sis. Amen. Keep going. Keep going. All right, beautiful people. That's it. Let me go ahead and get out of here. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. And I'm going to post that stuff for y'all in the community section and on Facebook. Just give me a couple minutes. All right. Bye. Bye, y'all.